Yo, what is up, y'all? This is DPS Podcast, episode number 16. This is your boy Slow Mo Backslap with my partner in crime, Gaming Forte. What's up, Forte?
What's up, man? Happy early New Year to you, man.
Oh, you sound dead, bro. Are you all right?
Dead? What are you talking about?
He was just like, yeah, Happy New
No,
Year
no,
to
I
you.
just put another look, man. I'm just trying to,
I know 2020 was rough, but geez, man, let's say, there's a the sun will come out tomorrow,
oh Lord, here you go. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Man, look, hey,
It's
we
what?
are it's New Year's Eve. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to be, ushering in the new year, but not completely because I mean, well, as late as you were, we almost was going to end this thing at midnight, but it's not going to be that bad. We will be ending it, before midnight. So anyone, checking this out or live or watching it later on can, will not be seeing us, watch the ball drop or anything, but it is going to be a good night. We're going to have a good time here. What's up to Dr. Sarakas in the chat? How's it going, man? He says Forte sounds like he's just waking up. That's what I said. He sound like, and when I talked to him earlier, he had all this energy. He was bouncing off the walls. He was body slamming his kids. He was trying to, molest his wife and
Sure
everything. And I'm
was,
just like, where's all that energy now? I don't understand. What
man.
happened?
Try to save it all. Try to save it all. Try to save it all. That's it.
So what you got here? Are you seriously going to play Destiny while we do this podcast?
Am I? Where you at?
I'm looking at your screen. Your screen is Destiny.
Is it?
God, I mean, literally,
because I don't have a this really
can't
takes
go
up
a
your
single
chapter?
show without Destiny having to be something to do with the show. Like, yes, if you were trying to hide that you were going to play Destiny while we doing the show, then yeah, you failed at that. I see you're trying to load into the game right now.
You see how long
Shout
this
out
load is
to
on an
Hustle.
X?
Yeah, I you know what? I really don't want to know. How about
Well, just
that?
the beginning parts is that long, sir.
Hustle, what's up, man? Happy holidays to you as well. Hope you're having a good one, man. Hope you are going to be bringing in the new year. Well, I think you had a really good year as far as content creation goes, and definitely next year is going to be just as good or better.
I need him to go out and make some push-ups.
He did his push-ups. He did his
He need
push-ups.
to go do some more.
He was struggling.
He didn't even
He
go all the way
definitely.
to. He didn't even go all the way to the ground.
He needs to. He said, "I'm drunk as hell. Thank you, Slow. Hey. That's what's up, though. Hey, at least some of us are getting lit right now. What's up, Def Lloyd? What's going on, man? What's going on? Oh man. So, Forte, what is tell us what you've been doing since last week, man.
Oh man, actually just recovering. Being a recovered addict of just being working all the time and stuff like that. Nothing really, just sitting around, sleeping, um, staying up. No, actually staying up way too late, and then having to go to work at way too early. Have you realized that ever since the whole pandemic thing happened, it's like since your work schedule changed. Like I used to have to be to work at like 9:30 every day, and like for a good pretty much for the majority of this year, I haven't been having to be to work till like 11:30 because we didn't open till 12, and it's like I'm used to that now, so I like really value my sleep.
So you need to really like try to figure a way to get back to a normal schedule.
Yeah.
It takes some time. It takes some time to kind of like, go back to that. But give me a moment. I got a kid emergency real quick. Could you shout out to some people in the chat, real quick. I'll be right back. All right.
Shout out to the kids in the chat, man. Slomo got like 15 kids that he ain't told nobody about. 2 of them by his wife. I think the Midichlorians got them, something like that. They all about to be Jedi warriors. The rule of 2. Got some Siths up in there. It's kind of crazy what someone be going through. Let me pull up this. Let me pull up this chat. What we got going on in here? We got Born Distracted. Hey Forte, any Destiny updates? Yo, video coming out tomorrow. Nothing really new. Just basically talk about some stuff that's going on in the game. Shout out to everybody that has been supporting the videos and stuff too, man. That's what's up. Hustle and motivate. He up in here probably half sleep. You sleep, hustle, man. How much have you put down so far? Let us know in the chat. We got Jack of all trades. Thanks for making 2020 better, fellas. Wish everyone the best. Yo, man. You guys have been the ones that made this year possible. Without you guys, this show wouldn't be this show. We wouldn't have had the chemistry to build the show that we have because of all the people out there saying, yo, Forte and Slow-Mo, y'all need to make a show, man, because you guys are hilarious and you guys are probably some of the most level-headed people I know. And that was because of you guys. So, yeah, we just here to talk about the stuff, but you guys are the ones that, made this a reality. So give yourselves a pat on the back.
Absolutely, I agree. I heard the last part of that. Did you say what's up to Defloid, Born?
Yes, I did.
Born Distracted, GC Jack of all trades. I don't know if I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Maybe you just been lurking all this time, but how you doing, sir? Appreciate you, and yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for making 2020 better. Say what?
That's me bringing my Destiny people, the people that play the game and they be lurking and stuff. They came and, you realize how many people was like, yo, man, I was just lurking the whole show. I was playing Destiny and I was like, look at the Destiny people coming out to the podcast. That's what's up.
This is Destiny. Oh, Defloid said thanks for putting it on Spotify. Cool. That's why we got a nice little growing contingent of people when I need to get better at making sure I get it uploaded the next day when it's available to upload. That's my bad on that. If you guys haven't been seeing the guys that listen to the podcast on Spotify or Google Podcasts or wherever your various platform, we still haven't got iTunes yet. I don't know what's up with Apple. They just don't like our show or something. They just won't approve us, but otherwise it's been pretty good going from to putting it on all the platforms, and I'm glad people are appreciating that. So yeah, what's up, Racer? Racer says I legit don't think Forte can go a day without mentioning Destiny in some way. It is absolutely 1000% true. He can't help himself. It's just crazy.
What's that all about, man?
What do you mean? You mentioned Destiny like 7 times. You've mentioned Destiny in more minutes than you have been late.
Wait.
For the show.
Somebody just asked me, hey Forte, any Destiny 2 update?
You mentioned Destiny like a gazillion times before then, and you were playing it while the show was live.
I didn't know I was playing it.
How do you not? You know what? We're gonna move on. Let me talk about what I've been doing. I've been
doing anything.
Well, I really haven't, but I've been working, and I've been spending time with family, and so that's been the big important things, that way more important than stuff like gaming and everything else. The family is always the big focus. So, been doing a lot of that, but also today, finished my 40th game of the year. I do not think I'm going to get anywhere close to that number next year in 2021, but I finished Godfall and immediately uninstalled it because, man, that game is just it needed like another year of development. It's just not enough content there. It's just not enough game there. I mean, every map is literally, it's only like 3 maps if you think about it. There are 3 different worlds, and you can go to different, like, they'll show you the map of like the earth, air, and water world, but when you really look at it, you go to each one, they're all the same map. You already the turns, the corners, and everything. It's just, I said, you know what? I wanted to have a nice, clean 40. 39 didn't sit right with me. So
39, they sit right with you.
yeah, I mean, look, I'm turning 40 in a few weeks. So I said, you know what? Let me finish the year with 40 games. Why not? Right. So that's what I did. Shout out to Enrique. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you too, sir. So yeah, I finished Godfall a few hours ago. That is number 40 of the year. 40 games completed. And next year I'm kind of hoping I have less games to complete. I want to kind of cut that in half and just spend some time with each game more than I did this year. But let's get into the topics, man. The first topic, yes, topics. Yes, we have topics. The first topic is oh no. Enrique said number 41 should be Bugsnax. Nah, there's no way I'm starting and completing Bugsnax in 2.5 hours before this year is up. Also, I don't see that number at 1K for subs, so not happening. But yeah, topics. First topic of the night is best games of 2020. And since I'm bringing that up, you guys in the chat, let us know what you guys think is the best games of 2020, or your best games of 2020, and then we'll do ours. So Forte, go ahead and give me your games, man.
I ain't played nothing this year. What do you want me to say?
What did you play this year?
Road Company. Okay, I know what my best games of 2020. I'm just talking.
you know why you're just talking? Because you're playing a game right now, so they're paying attention to the podcast. That's why you're just talking.
Sir.
You cannot multitask.
You know how great this game is?
I know it is. I played it. I got the review code for it. But yeah, that's just not.
Beat it?
No, I haven't beat it yet. But that's not what we're doing right now. So right now,
got a review code for a game that you ain't even beat.
Hey, I beat 40 games this year. You beat 0. Moving on.
I beat 4 games this year? Just 4.
Okay, what 4 games did you beat this year?
I beat Animal Crossing. I beat Final Fantasy. Damn, what was that? Oh, dang. What else did I beat this year?
You said you beat Final Fantasy, Animal Crossing. Can you beat Animal Crossing?
You can't beat Animal Crossing. You can literally do everything in that game. It's a never-ending game, though. Honestly.
I mean, there's not really like I didn't put on my list of games. I didn't list Road Company because Road Company is not a game that you can like beat.
You should.
No, it's not a game that there's nothing to beat.
Once you unlock there is something to beat. Once you unlock everything in the game, you have pretty much beat the game. You're just playing it until the next content drop comes out.
There is no content drop for Rogue Company. There's just they drop another rogue in a new mode. That's it.
A new content drop.
That's not that
you got to grind out and unlock and get all the stuff and get all the.
Yes, Def Floyd. Forte is smoking. He is high as a kite right now. There's games like Overwatch, Bleeding Edge, Rogue Company, CS:GO. Those kind of games where
I can say I beat Destiny then. I beat Beyond Light because there was a campaign that I beat.
Yeah. You know what?
There was the beginning and the end to that campaign.
Crap. You know what? I got 41. Let me change it to 41 because you want to know why I got 41? This is going to blow your mind.
Yeah, please. What is it?
I got Destiny Beyond Light on PlayStation and I completed the campaign.
There you go.
2 days ago. Yeah.
Wait, on PlayStation?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have an Xbox. That's right.
Yeah. I'm playing with a couple of friends.
Oh, a couple of friends got it for you?
Yeah. So I said, all right, I'll play it with them. And
how was it?
It's all right. They're kind of touching on some of the Joseph Staten storyline that he created originally for Destiny 1 before it got chopped and screwed to that abomination that they came out with at launch. But with like the traveler, abandoning people and when the darkness shows up kind of stuff. But I mean, it's typical Destiny. I'm not shocked at all with how it turned out, and it was okay. But It's
You quit halfway through. You just went till you saw her freeze, didn't you? That's all you did, right?
yeah, that was it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like I could get my light level up to.
That story picks up very very significantly after that.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
way more after that.
But anyway, you were talking about games that your best games of 2020.
Okay, so let's be for real. All right, so my best games of 2020 is Animal Crossing is number one because I love Animal Crossing, and that's why I wanted it to be Game of the Year. Second game, Final Fantasy. Love that game. Game is freaking phenomenal. This game that I'm playing is probably 3 or 4. Is really good. It's like I didn't expect this from Ubisoft. Not this quick. This is what I expect from the new Ubisoft once they cleaned house. I wasn't expecting.
You know what's wild though? This is the most unique game they've made in years. This is the probably what some people may feel like this is one of the best games they've made in years. And how much marketing did they put behind this?
None.
We didn't even know they changed the name out of nowhere. No one even saw this game until it was like a few months before launch. It was just, I had no idea what this game was until I saw like, hey, like people want a review code for, Immortal Phoenix Rising. I'm like, what's that? And I think somebody, shout out to, I can't remember who it was, but one of our followers, one of our viewers, was the one who sent it to you too, but you just, you never on Twitter, but sent me the tweet that said, hey, look, they're looking for content creators to, try the game out. And I said, you know what? They're probably going to tell me no, but let me go ahead and see what's up. And they hit me up with it, and I'm saying, all right, well, let me try it out. And I, went through the NDA stuff, and then next thing I know, I'm like, wow, this is actually a pretty good game. I had to really. I'm like, this is Ubisoft. When you go into the menu, it's typical Ubisoft because it's got like that Assassin's Creed set up for the menu, the design of like the maps and how your loadout is and all that other stuff. It's very similar to Assassin's Creed, but the gameplay it's got a lot of elements from Breath of the Wild, but there's nothing wrong with that. When something is done well, then you take it and you make it your own. That's how things work. But yeah, go ahead, man. Continue.
So this game is definitely up there. And the other game that I'm really was very enamored with because I didn't beat it last year. It came out last year, but I beat it this year. Was Link's Awakening for the Switch. It's like that. I love the art direction that they went with that game and stuff. So it really kind of spoke to me. And I'm just a huge Zelda fan. I mean, that's why my most anticipated game is Zelda. So out of those games, those are the ones I really cherish the most because they
really think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out next year.
I hope so. I don't think it is. I think if the Switch Pro does, if the Switch Pro is this year and they announce it this year, then Breath of the Wild will be this year. I think that game is tied to that system.
That would be smart on their part to make sure that they get they can maximize sales for it and then having it look like really, really good on the Switch Pro. That will really entice a lot of people to jump on that new platform. I know I don't care about Zelda. I never have. Even back in the day when on the Nintendo Entertainment System when they had the original Zelda where it was the gold cartridge. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah, I mean, I didn't even, like all my friends were just like, "Oh, the cartridge is gold." I'm like, "Yeah, the game is dog." I didn't care about the game, so But let me see. I actually did a video that I released earlier today that still somehow YouTube hasn't got the 4K version of it ready yet. Of course.
Oh yeah. How they do.
Yeah,
they don't want you to shine.
No, never do. But my top 5 games I a list, and number 5 was actually Deliver Us the Moon. So like Deliver Us the Moon was on Game Pass earlier this year. I don't know if it's still in there or not. If it isn't, I think if you're into very story driven games that kind of like What Remains of Edith Finch, then it's worth a purchase. If not, then probably not. If that's not really your jam. But if it's still in Game Pass, definitely check it out. It's a good game. I enjoyed that. It was a really good story. Has some nice puzzle elements to it. Has some nice action sequences to it. From a very small studio. I was really shocked at the level of quality. Did a review on it earlier this year too. But that was my number 5. My number 4 was actually Astro's Playroom. Because Astro's Playroom is so good.
It is so good.
It's so good. Sometimes I just like play it. I just, I'm bored. Let me just put on Astros real quick and try to do a speed challenge and just, rock out to the great music. That GPU song stuck in my head. The GPU song, the main theme song, and the SSD song. Those songs.
The
SSD. It's like who I forgot the name of the developer that's
isn't it like a Sobo, a Saba something?
It's something like it's not Sobo.
It's not a Sobo
because it's a first party developer for I don't know if that's a first party developer or not. I think it's kind of like a similar situation with Moon Studios and Xbox, where it's published by Sony Japan. But they have like one of those studios that they always work with, and that studio makes a lot of first party stuff for them. But whoever they are, they need to they deserve all the props in the world. That game's amazing. I just wish it was a little bit longer, had a little bit more to do to it. But if I think Sony should really take the great critical acclaim this game has gotten, see if they could do an expansion or something to it. Yeah, because it was just really awesome. My number three game is The Last of Us Part 2, for obvious reasons.
Ooh.
Great story, even though some people hate the story. I think the story is very well done. I'm not going to get into it too deep. I just feel like the structure of the story would have been better for some people. But the combat improved over the first game. The visuals, just amazing visuals for a game that was running on completely obsolete, terrible trash hardware. And yeah, you just Naughty Dog really put their foot in it. They really hit it home with that game, and it deserved all the awards it got. It's just it is what it is. Mm-hmm.
They did a really good job with the game overall. I mean, like I told you, when it came.
Did you complete that game?
Last of Us? No, I'm at the end. I got so spoiled on that game. It was like, at a certain point, I knew everything that was happening, and I saw all the spoilers, and I was like, I don't have to really finish this game.
You should just finish it just to finish it.
Just to say I finished it.
Yeah. Hey, look, I really enjoyed the last sequence when you're going up against the. What was that group's name? It's something like the Predators or something, the Wranglers or whatever the freak their name are. But like I just love that part where Ellie just goes in and just massacres these douchebag people who are just basically running people, keeping slaves basically is what they was doing. So I thought it was well done. I know some people hate the ending and some people hate just having to use Abby and for obvious reasons, but I think from a storytelling perspective they did a great job, especially with like little things like the notes and the codex, as I call it, that you would pick up and you would learn things from characters and the people around. Like if you, I don't know if you were recorded or not, when you're in Seattle, I think it's day 1 or day 2 with Ellie, and she goes to a neighborhood, suburban neighborhood, and then she eventually ends up running into a dude with a bow and arrow. That's how you get the bow and arrow. The dude with the bow and arrow on his back in the garage, you kill him. But if you look at all of the messages and notes and letters you find up until then, you're seeing the story play out where this of that guy, and he was like well respected in the neighborhood, and when the things went bad and everyone started getting affected, he was like defending the neighborhood with his bow and arrow, his archery, and people really respected the dude. But then like his daughter had, I think she was one of the people who were going around tagging things and saying don't trust the government and stuff like that, and she ended up getting like executed, and he just went left after that, and then he found that like his neighbors had like ratted her out, and so he set them all up. So that part where there's like a garage, and you open the door to the garage, and like all of these clickers fly out at you. That was him setting his neighbors up. He set them up there, and he killed them all basically, as retaliation for what they did to his daughter. But he got bit as he was doing it, and so that's how he ended up being affected. Like, long story short, the Rattlers. Thank you, Death Lloyd. The Rattlers are the people at the end. But yeah, I mean that story, like, it's like there's so many little stories like that. Like the story about how you find out how the people, the security of Seattle, that were trying to keep things safe in Seattle, how they realized things were going bad, and they were trying to all get out before the Abby's people took over. And it was just like so much depth to the story there that all that stuff can't be ignored. It was just really that good.
It couldn't be. I just think a lot of people just didn't like how long they made you, how drawn out it was at certain points. That was my biggest point, that I just didn't like that part of. But the game itself can't be denied that it's a good game. I mean, it's got some of the best overall mechanics, and I mean the accessibility options they have in that game is incredible.
Yeah, they really took care of people with disabilities. That was amazing.
And then the other thing is just the mocap, the motion capture in that game it's like second to none. There's nothing.
It is.
I think nothing that's even close to what that is.
Maybe Ninja Theory with their proprietary mocap stuff. Their I forgot what it's called, but they have proprietary mocap that they created themselves, which is the reason why they were able to do Hellblade and have Hellblade's mocap be so good on a shoestring budget, is because mocap's expensive. Performance capture is expensive to get done. Usually you either have to spend a gazillion bucks to get that stuff in house, or you outsource it and outsource that work, and that's expensive. And Ninja Theory didn't have to do that because they already had that stuff they already developed themselves. But I think they're the only ones that are close, but I still don't think they're as good as Naughty Dog is with that. I think, and just the before I move on, I think the one thing I would say I wish they would have changed. Initially, I said that I didn't like how Joel died. I didn't care that Joel died. I thought he needed to die, but I didn't like how he died. I still think him walking into that basement was very like, what you doing? But in retrospect, and talking to a lot of people, they've all said how like it was really Tommy that let Abby know that who he was, and so it was really Tommy that kind of screwed up. And so after playing through some parts again, just to see that part again, I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, this is kind of on Tommy, which makes sense of why he felt so guilty and wanting to go after them and go to Seattle and kind of really starting everything, because Ellie was going there to also kind of get him back too. So yeah, but I think
Do you think the payoff though was worth it though? Like from everything that we got from the first one through the buildup of the second one to how the last one ended, what do you feel? Do you think the payoff was there? That's the
Probably.
problem. Because that's the only reason I haven't beat it. Because I just at this point I know what the ending is, and I just don't see the payoff.
Well, that's because you got spoiled. So that like you have to kind of take that into account that wasn't how it was intended. You weren't intended to be spoiled of the ending.
Well, I mean the fact that I didn't get spoiled of the beginning parts of it, and the beginning parts of it kind of set a tone for me that I was like, this is dumb. Like, you know,
What's dumb?
Like, it's like they disregard, like for me, the characters, it's like they disregard it, like the element of people growing up in these environments. They tried to spin it, like with the whole Joel thing, they tried to spin it and say that, well, you know, he's been disconnected from it and he's older and everything. And I mean, but literally what a scene before the death scene, he's literally fighting in a warehouse with Abby, and you see him just putting down clickers, people. It's like I'm looking at this, I'm like, yo, this the Joel I remember. And then all of a sudden they just threw that out the window and said, oh, Joe just trust anything. So it just kind of just like the development of that little piece right there just kind of.
Well, I wouldn't say. I would say if you went through, you're in a factory and you're fighting with this girl you just met, and she's, you know, of course she's doing what she can to survive because she knows that, you know, you being with you makes things easier. But like, how was at that time she any different than the black dude with his little brother in the first game? He ended up trusting him because
but he also didn't follow them back to.
He did. He followed him back to his apartment.
Yeah, okay, so they put so you walk into so let me ask you this as a person. Are you gonna walk into a compound and walk into a basement with people that you don't know, knowing that people in this world are the most dangerous thing? They're more dangerous than the clickers that are running around out here.
I mean, look, although that is true,
that's all. That's all.
No. If you think about the first game, Joel and Ellie, their intention was to go with and get to that guy's people, that black dude and his little brother that all got messed up, and they were all dead anyway before they could get to him. But that was the intention. He was going to do the same thing in the first game. It's just that the difference is that he's older, and I do agree that like he probably should have said, you know, we don't have to go in the basement. We can just relax here by the window, you know, get warm a little bit. Then we're gonna head back out. They had killed the horde that was coming after them. So it's not. But it was a snowstorm going on. So it was just like
it's a big ass house.
Yeah, you can nitpick it. That Joel wouldn't make that decision, but again, he got put in that situation because his brother was like, "Hey, I'm Tommy, and that's Joel.
Well, that was
social security number is blah 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 blah," and it's just like, yeah, he was done then.
Yes, I know.
he was done then,
and that was the whole thing. That kind of
even when the horde got killed. And they were outside, and Joel was like, I don't know these people like that. Hey, yo, Tommy, let's go. They weren't gonna let them leave.
I would have felt better about the situation then, because it's like they completely just threw Joel's character. It was like Joe's stupid. That was the perception.
I think you're simplifying it too much. It's he made a mistake, but just because you make a mistake don't mean you're dumb. He wasn't stupid by going in the basement.
Not stupid. They made him out to be listen, you can't be the character that he was in the first one. Ruthless hell. Dude didn't care about nothing. Only reason he was he wanted to look out for Ellie's because it reminded him of his daughter. It's the only reason.
I already explained how he did similar things in the first game.
Exactly.
I said similar things to following Abby. Like he did that with the black dude and his little brother. So it's the same thing.
Well, you
difference is that black dude didn't have any ill intentions for him, and Abby did.
Listen, but also the thing was his perception of everything that was happening in that environment was still at a heightened awareness. Like he still like he had to trust that because that was the direction they had to go in. Like they were already safe.
Shout out to Boom. Double Barrel Gaming in the house. Say Happy New Year
Dude.
panel and chat. How's it going, bro? Happy New Year to you. One Bad Mother. Happy New Year as well. Look, we can argue about this all night. All I was going to say is that we can disagree on that, but I have a different opinion on it now than I did when I first finished the game.
Wait, what did Deathflow say? Beat the game if you can, huh?
He should beat the game if you can. That's all he's saying. He's not.
If you can. What is if you can?
I'm like, why are you being sensitive right now?
I am being sensitive right now.
My only issue with the game really is the structure of Seattle. The 3 days with Ellie and then 3 days with Abby. I didn't like. I thought it should have been day 1 Ellie, day 1 Abby, and then day 2 Ellie, and then day 2 Abby, back and forth like that. That way, when in day 3, where day 2 and day 3, where actually from day 1, day 2, and day 3, where all of Abby's friends are getting killed by Ellie, that it wasn't just, hey, that's that random douchebag that was there when Joel died that got killed. It would have been more like, oh man, like that whole love triangle thing that was going on between her ex-boyfriend and his pregnant girl and her. Like, you could have been more invested in that if you didn't know the fate of these two people that she's arguing with ahead of time. So that it would have meant more when Ellie killed them. You know, it would have meant more to understanding Abby's frustration when she's showing up at the theater to murk everybody, you know? So it's just, I thought that could have been done better, but otherwise I didn't really have a big problem with it. My number 2 best games this year is Rogue Company, for obvious reasons. Probably the game I spent the most hours in this year. Just awesome multiplayer game. A mix of Overwatch and CSGO. It's just great. And I think I'm a level 109 or 110 in that game now with all characters unlocked. I haven't mastered all of them yet. I think the closest one I'm mastering is Lancer and Saint. But I'm really enjoying it. I play it almost every single day. And number 1, of course, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's got to be, you know, the best RPG that came out this year. And
was there any others?
Yeah, man, was it the RPGs that came out this year?
Wasn't it come out this year?
13 Sentinels came out this year.
Sentinels came out this year.
I gotta finish that actually.
Outer Wars was last year, wasn't it? Or was it
Outer Worlds was last year, yes.
Okay, it was.
They did do an expansion that came out this year. I didn't play the expansion. I hate expansions where they don't continue the story.
Yeah.
It's like for example, Mass Effect 3's Arrival expansion doesn't make any sense because it takes place with like you and your crew not even talking about, like, it came out after the game came out.
A bridge between 2 and 3.
I said Arrival. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said Arrival.
I meant the Citadel DLC.
Oh yeah, that made no sense.
No sense for it to come out after the game had already launched and it be, you know, everyone's talking about like you don't even know your shepherd's alive or not, you know, for some people, depending on your choices. And for everyone to be at the Citadel when the Citadel had been destroyed at that point, it was just like, this sucks. This should have been out, like, this should have been DLC that was available when the game launched. Therefore, I would have been able to like had this be seamless within the storyline. So that's the same thing that's with the Outer Worlds DLC. It's like it's a whole nother planet or area. I haven't played it, but this is what I read up on it. I heard it's pretty decent, but then they didn't get. I can't remember if they didn't get all the voice actors for it or not, but regardless, it's just, it doesn't take place after the events of you finishing the game. So it's like, it's not continuing on anything. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not interested in playing it then. So I kind of hate when that happens, but I would like something that's like adjacent to the main story, like Hive Busters, which I still got to play. for Gears. Something that's adjacent or continues on the story is what I like to see. But and I played a lot of really good games this year. They just didn't meet my best games of the year. Spider-Man Miles Morales, awesome. Immortal Phoenix Rising, awesome. Man, Ghost of Tsushima is awesome. So many really good games, but they just didn't really reach that level. And when you beat 41 games and you played many more than that, it's difficult to be able to determine which ones are like the best, but
I agree.
Is what it is. That's my top 5. I didn't really see anyone in the chat say what theirs were. Let's see. Dr. Sarakis did say Ori and the Will of the Wisp, which I fully understand. That's a lot of people's game of the year from what I see. I played Ori. I think Ori kind of fits that category for me too. It's another good game, but this wasn't like one of the best games I played personally. But I'm not really into those kind of games anyway, so those games don't really resonate with me like that anyway. Right. But if you're good, we can move on to the next topic.
No, I think you have something you want to say?
No. I said if you've said everything you want to say, we can move on.
No. Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
So, if you're in Michigan, like us right now, did you notice, Key, here, fun fact, that it's 10 o'clock right now, and it's like, and in 2 hours, it's going to be New Year's again?
Yeah.
He said, everybody know, trust me, everybody know in 2 hours, this crap year is going to be over.
Yeah, everyone is looking forward to this year.
Everybody's looking forward to the brand new year. You got anything else you want to say before you leave? Anything? And
it's the end of the year.
You want to tell everybody to have something, a happy new year or something?
And happy new year. I wish y'all I hope your Christmas tree doesn't burn down if it.
Oh my God. Bye. Get out.
Wait.
No. All right. Bye. I'm not done hugging you.
I want to tell you something.
Go ahead.
Are y'all having a nice New Year party?
Yes, that's what we're doing right now. We're bringing in the new year with all our friends. Outside of that,
need friends.
Oh my God!
We don't even have friends.
What is happening?
This is what happens when you let your child. You turn it over for 2 seconds to your child. She's like, I found it. Oh, you got it. All right, go ahead, put it in. Bye. No, that's all I got when it comes to that. You know what? Spider-Man Miles Morales, watching my child beat that probably was a highlight. Because I wish. Has your kid started playing games yet, Slow-Mo?
My kid plays Minecraft, like all the stuff most kids play, Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite. Yeah, he loves old school Sonic games. This is why, like I told you. And matter of fact, we can talk about this real quick. I bought him an Xbox Series S, and he was with the in-laws for the past 3 days. So I finally got it while he was there. Set everything up, create a gamer tag for him, put it under a child account. And shout out for Microsoft for actually having really robust tools for parents to be able to monitor their kids and make sure that they aren't like buying a whole bunch of games that with your money and stuff.
Yeah.
You could even monitor, you could even put a limit on how much they play. It's really robust. I really appreciate that. I spent a couple of hours setting everything up, installed all the games for him. So like, even though he hasn't had the opportunity to really, they just got home a little while ago. He hasn't really got the opportunity to play it yet, but tomorrow I'm gonna, walk him through everything. And he's one of those kids that's he likes mouse and keyboard over controller. So I made sure I got some games that actually work with mouse and keyboard on a console, like Fortnite, Minecraft, pretty much the only games he plays anyway. But that is going to be a highlight for me, is kind of seeing him, his excitement for it. He was calling me while he was at the in-laws. It was like, did you get the Xbox? Is the Xbox? I'm like, yeah, look, it's all set up, man. When you get back, I'll walk you through everything. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. That's probably, if I wanted to say outside of just gaming himself, what was the highlight of 2020 was, I wish I would have thought of it yesterday when we talked about it on Brap, but that probably was it. Watching, my kid, my oldest, she's 16 now, so she's been playing like so-called grown-up games for a while now. She's beat Until Dawn like 7 times. She's beat,
Hey,
she's
it's a good
beat
game.
Right. Well, she's beat Days Gone. I mean, she's the epitome of a real gamer. I tell her, I say, you're a better gamer than me. Even though you play Mortal Kombat every day, she does branch out and play a whole bunch of other stuff. And then my youngest, she was like the Roblox. She's still a Roblox queen, but then, she got into Fortnite real heavily because she likes mouse and keyboard too. But then it's like a switch flipped in her and she just started playing everything. Like she platinum Spider-Man Miles Morales. I was like, did you just platinum this game? And like, no, just seeing that happen was like, I'm proud. My wife was like, oh, your kids done really made you proud. Now they bleed me because now my oldest wants Xbox Live for his sister. I said, because I share with my brother. And you can't share multiples. So I was like, well, dang, that means I can't share with my daughter. That means I got to buy her own Xbox Live. So I did that today for her. So yeah, man, it feels good to watch the kids grow up and kind of take the mantle of what you enjoyed the most. And, I'm always the person that's not going to kind of force them to do what I want them to do. I'm going to let them do what they want. And they kind of following in the footsteps. They're realizing that, man, there's something about these video games, man, that's really addictive to people.
Yeah, man. Look, shout out to her for platinum and Miles Morales. This is a really good game. I platinumed it too. It was the first game I ever platinumed was Spider-Man 2018.
You should have. I asked her, I said, you gonna do Demon Souls yet? So she started playing Demon Souls. She's like, oh, this hard.
yeah. I actually thought about doing Demon Souls, just to see, just because I never really cared about From Software games. Maybe I'll give it a shot one day. Who knows?
Proud of you.
I don't know who that is. Anyway, let's
proud of you, but you'll be more proud of you.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next topic here, which is this let's throw this ball down the road real quick. Ubisoft Plus, which is the subscription service for Ubisoft, if you aren't aware. And by the way, shout out to Surtaz. Happy New Year to you too, bro. And Dark Saya from Paris. Man, you lucky bastard. Ubisoft Plus going to Game Pass. So that's been like this rumor that's been running out there. I think honestly, me personally, I think this is just people are bored because there's not much to talk about right now. So that's where this whole Ubisoft thing is coming from. I don't think it has any kind of foundation in facts, but let's talk about that for a moment. What do you think the possibilities of Ubisoft Plus going to Game Pass?
Between 5 and 10%. 5 and 10%. I can't say you can't
that
say
much.
No. Yes, you can't say no, and you can't dismiss it entirely because we never thought that EA would become a part of Game Pass, especially as a add-on and not.
Yes, but EA Play is very different than Ubisoft Plus.
No, it is. Well, Ubisoft UPlay is only available on PC. It's not even available on console. And
yeah, it is.
No, it's not. UPlay is not available on console, sir. It's only on PC.
No, is Ubisoft Plus UPlay? Is that what it is? I might have to change with the title of this. Let me look. Hold on.
What did you mean? It's Ubisoft Plus, but it's
the Ubisoft Connect.
Yeah, Connect is on Xbox, but that's only for you to connect your account to your Ubisoft account.
It is UPlay Plus. Okay, I'm gonna change the title. Because it's I got the wrong title. Go ahead.
No, and that's only available on PC. So that's
UPlay Plus. Yeah,
that's the only thing that I think will kind of hold it up. But Xbox and Microsoft, Xbox and Ubisoft, they've been kind of talking about, being willing to, add on to like Xbox Game Pass. And I do think it's going to be a situation at a certain point where he's talking about there's too many subscription services where Xbox Game Pass can literally be the subscription service that everybody gets into. And like I said, the only difference is I would have been even more shocked if like EA Premier, like Pro, EA Play Pro would have been a part of Game Pass, because that's their Uber subscription service where you get all the games day one. You know, you don't even have to buy them, you just in the service. So basically, you just get access to the vote. I think they might have something like that. I don't think it's going to be as robust as like UPlay Plus is right now, where you can just play everything and get all the DLC as long as you're a subscriber to that on their service on PC. But they may have a vote service where, hey, all the games, they might add a vote service to like the console service where they say, yo, we're giving you all the games that are in this, all these votes for, you know, part of Game Pass. And you got to think about it, a lot of Ubisoft games are already in there. You know, it's not like they're like holding out. They actually have a bunch of games in there as of right now. And I think that's like the next step. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I do think sometime in 2021, beginning of 2022, I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this year if UPlay Plus or just UPlay itself is kind of a part of Game Pass.
All right. This is why
it has an opportunity. It's an opportunity.
This is why this is not going to happen. Okay. This is why it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because even with EA Play, you're not getting what UPlay Plus is. EA Play and EA Play Plus are two different. One's the regular standard service. The other one is the step up, the ultimate. EA Play is essentially games come out. EA comes out. You get the Vault game. So like Mass Effect Trilogy, all the Dragon Age games, the old Dead Space games. Yeah. Right, and then eventually you get Madden and FIFA after like 6 months or so. Those get thrown into it too. So this is what you get. But they're new stuff. They're new games.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No. But see, that's why I think it's like, all right. So this is why. Well, hold on. So EA Play that's in Game Pass right now.
It's just the Vault version.
It's just the Vault version. You're just getting old
version
games.
They already had.
Right. And then you will have access to when they come out with a new game. You can play that game early for like 8 hours. But you still got to buy the game. It's not going to end up in Game Pass at launch. Right. Now, if you had EA Play Plus, it would be like day and date, like how Game Pass is, where EA plays EA's games that come out. You just have access to those games, and that's only on PC. Now, you said UPlay Plus has that just for PC.
That's just for PC. I think they're going to be. I think if they do bring something to console, it's in line to what EA already has on console.
They would have to. This is what makes it like a 1% chance this is going to happen to me. Ubisoft will have to introduce a console service first in order for that to even be eligible to do that. And then you're looking at like, well, why even introduce that if you're going to throw that into Game Pass anyway? Because individually, no one's going to jump on that if it's in Game Pass. It's the same rate. The reason why EA Play on console just basically got discontinued. If you think about it, I looked at like my subscription services, and it's they just shut it down and just because I already had Game Pass, they just forwarded into that.
It's on PS4.
That's true. I forgot it is on P, but it's like it's not even the same. Like the games,
the same.
No,
it's not the same service.
It's the same service. They ain't got the same games.
Yes, it does.
It does not have the same games in the vault for the PlayStation.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
What games is different?
I've seen it. It has like 24 games, if that. Now maybe they got more now, but when it launched, people were complaining like this not even all the games that's in regular EA Play.
It should be all the same games that are in the vote for.
It's not.
Oh, okay. Well,
so yeah, so that's why people was like, this is some doggish because you don't even have all the games that the Xbox EA Play has. So yeah, look, it's just
the problem might be also the fact that they have to get licensing to release those games in the service on PlayStation, even though because they do got games in there that aren't EA games that are in that EA Play.
Right, but also I don't think those games are even going to be in Game Pass those EA Play games that, and that's not even that's a PC thing. You're talking about the stuff that where EA Play before it was EA Play, it was Origin Premiere.
Well,
where
it's EA Play and EA Play Pro.
Right, but before it was
Premiere.
Premiere. It would have like when I first played Plague's Tale: Innocence, I played that through EA's subservice, not Game Pass.
I played Anthem through there.
Yeah, and so it's like they had, but that's Anthem is their own game. Plague's Tale: Innocence isn't a game. That's a Solo Studios. They didn't publish that, but they always have a lot of indie games in their service. I don't think any of those games that are in EA Play on PC that they just do their own sub service that kind of competes with Game Pass. I don't think any of those games are going to be on Game Pass.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm about to look and see what's in there. It's been so long since I looked at EA.
Yeah, I haven't looked in a while. They don't really have a lot of good content that's not their own in there.
It's just that not a lot of it's all long in the tooth now. It's like if you don't really care about football and like football, then you don't care about Madden and Battlefield. The last two have kind of just not been what people wanted. And that's the biggest problem with that. And then Star Wars, the last one was good, but it took a while for them to fix all of the loot box issues in it. And then Squadrons hasn't hit the vote yet. It's only in it's still paid for. I think one thing just hit the vote. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order just hit the vote back in
it did.
Hit the vote on the day the X came out.
Yeah, but then that's also in Game Pass as well. You know what? Maybe that's why I was in Game Pass. But yeah, I'm looking at these games. Some of these games are already in Game Pass. 2 Point Hospital. They got Kingdoms of Amalur, Endless Legend. Rocket Arena is their own game. Warhammer 40,000. Those Warhammer games are a dime a dozen. Bloodstained Ritual is a nice, good game, but I mean, everyone's played that. That's one that played it already. Super Hot's been in every service out there. Tacoma, same thing. It's just like none of these games are anything that is Vampire, the Don't Nod Vampire game. Like a Plague's Tale: Innocence is still in there, but that's been there for 4 years. So Frostpunk.
EA, if the thing is, like I said, is it just comes down to if they want to partner with Xbox and say instead of just throwing their games in Game Pass, they'll have like a service that they won't even, because think about it, people on PlayStation gonna get pissed if they don't, so they'll probably end up having a service that's gonna be on both sides, but it'll just be included in what's the name. But that's only if they bring it to console, because right now it's not available on console. And in my heart, I believe they're gonna bring something to console. And whenever they,
I don't think they're going to bring it to console, and here's why: because they can't. What storefront are you going like? See. When you sign up for EA Play Plus, you download their launcher and you use that launcher, right? Like that, it's on PC. So like everyone else that has a launcher, you could have your own storefront. They can't do that, their own storefront on consoles. So it's just without that infrastructure available. What are you doing?
EA did it.
No, they didn't.
They did do it. That's how you think EA Play EA All Access was available on console. They had a storefront that was only on PC, and they still brought that storefront to Xbox, and then it finally made it over to PlayStation this year. That's
not a storefront. That's a subscription service that's just available.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they're going to make. I'm not saying they're going to make a storefront on the system. I'm saying they're going to make a service. They're going to bring a service over to the console, because we got to think about it. EA Access was not EA Origins was a thing before they made EA Access. So they did the same thing.
Here's the difference.
They did the same thing that Ubisoft is doing now. The only difference is they decided to bring their subscription service to console too.
This is the difference. On PC, they can have a brand new game be day and date.
Yes.
But on console, that's a game that you're licensing.
We're not saying anything. We're not talking about. We're not talking about day and day. We're not talking about those. We're talking about we're not talking about the day, like we're not talking about the same subscription that they have that's on PC. I'm saying they're gonna do something where they're gonna have a subscription model where it's gonna be like EA Access is or EA Pro Play is versus how EA Pro is on console. It'll be two different things. They're going to have something where it's just going to be voted games because they already put those games in Game Pass as it is. They already put some of them in there. Like Assassin's Creed are in there. I forget. Dishonored. Well, Dishonored, that's Bethesda. It just feels like a Ubisoft game for some reason.
Watchdog. You talking about Ubisoft? I was thinking about EA. EA.
No, EA ain't gonna never do. EA gonna keep on.
I don't think Ubisoft isn't either because it's the same point. It's that on PC they can just charge you directly and say, "Hey, look, here's the sub service. When it's available, you sign up for our premium service. When the game comes out, you just download it. You got it already, but you're paying us on a like $15 a month. That's what UPLAY Plus is right now, $15 a month. If they tried that on console, where you're selling the game directly on console and giving 30% to PlayStation and Xbox, I can see Microsoft and Sony saying, "Whoa."
Well, that's what
EA doesn't do that on console now.
Yes, they do. They still don't do
PlayStation. Bruh. EA Play. I'm talking about EA Play.
They don't have EA Play. That's the difference. They're not going to bring Pro to console. I'm telling you that now. Pro is not coming
there
to
is
console.
Nothing. This is what I'm saying about Ubisoft. Ubisoft isn't going to do a EA Play service just for console, where it's just like here's a vault of games that.
So what you're saying is they'll just ignore the console side, and the bigger side, and say we don't want that money.
How's that the bigger side? There's 100 million. There's 200 million PC gamers.
No. Yeah. No. How many console gamers are there?
Combined, you think about it, combined, there's a little bit less.
That's what I'm saying.
A little bit less. Every time annually they do that whole breakdown of it's 51% PC, 49% console. So
yeah, it's like it's like right down the middle almost.
So what I'm saying is that they don't have a regular standard EA Play kind of service. They have
not right now. They don't.
But yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna put.
Well, that's the only way this is gonna happen is if they do that, because it ain't gonna happen the other way around.
Yeah, and then they'll need to introduce something before they just go. And now it's the Game Pass.
I don't think they're gonna. They won't do that. I think it will be a situation where they'll just, because if they're already putting the games in there, they'll want to have like some type of vehicle to say that they're actually because if they don't have it on place, this is the thing. They're not going to do it on Xbox and they're not going to put something in Xbox and not have something ready for PlayStation, even though EA did that for freaking the whole generation, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I just think it can happen. 5 to 10% chance that it will happen.
Plus, I think it is a cautionary tale of EA of how that's worked with them. They haven't gone beyond 5 million. They haven't even got the 5 million subs with EA Play, and they were the first one to come out with this kind of service. Meanwhile, Game Pass is like at 15 plus million right now. So it's just what are you doing? What are you competing with here? Like you're really like late to the game here. Ubisoft. Like I don't think Ubisoft is going to release more games annually throughout a year that people will probably more than likely. They do that already anyway. They average 4 to 5 games released a year. Although I do think that's going to slow down with them not being so copy and paste with their content now. I don't think they're going to be doing 4 games a year anymore. How many did they do this year? Valhalla, Phoenix Rising.
Far Cry comes out later.
No, this year, 2020.
I don't know what came out this year.
I feel like they only dropped 2 games this year.
They only dropped 2 games this year, but they'll have 4 by the middle of next year, if you count
Far Cry.
If you count these 2 plus whatever else they got coming next year.
Well, all we know is Far Cry, right?
Is that all we know is Far Cry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, 3 so far.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was 3 this year. Watchdog Legion came out.
Oh yeah, Watchdog Legion. I knew it was
3 this year, but that's still less than what they normally do. They normally have a minimum of 4, but I think that's going to change now that they got rid of the stupid management and they're actually making unique content now that's going to take more time, and you can't just take assets from a different game and throw it into your game as they were doing with all the Ghost Recon games and the Assassin's Creed games.
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we can move on. Respawn and Double Fine, and so this is what I have seen is that Double Fine Productions, their next project after Psychonauts 2 is going to be a brand new IP, and so Tim Schafer has said that basically that let's see here. This was he was on actually a Kind of Funny We Have Cool Friends podcast with Greg Miller, and this is the quote. It said that, "Let me tell you, next game is not going to be a sequel, starting with Broken Age, which is sort of got a nostalgia thing because it's an adventure game. That was a little bit of a retro thing, and we did all those remasters of Grim and Throttle and Day of the Tentacle, which is great fun, but that was also kind of a trip to the past. And now we're doing Psychonauts 2, which is a sequel. So I feel like ever since 2012, I've been looking backwards a little bit, and I'm like, okay, for now, after this game for a long time, we're just going to do original and new stuff, brand new, shiny new stuff." So looks like Double Fine's next game, which would be just on Xbox, the Xbox ecosystem, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. It's going to be a brand new IP. It's not going to be taking an old IP like the game that was just revealed that we all knew about, The Initiative.
Perfect Dark.
There we go. My bad. Perfect Dark. Like, that was The Initiative took an old IP that for some people, because the game's so old now, almost 2 decades old, right? For some people, that's a brand new IP as far as they're concerned. Like, they never played, Perfect Dark, but still not a brand new thing. Tim Schafer wants to do a whole new thing. And also with Respawn is from a now deleted job listing. There's an indication that Respawn is working on a new IP so they're doing 2 things. Vince Abella, who runs Respawn, is also running a second DICE studio, DICE LA. That studio is going from a support studio to a fully fledged team that's going to be working on their own IP, and then they got Respawn working on a new IP of its own. And that's DICE. DICE is doing the updated Frostbite engine. No word of whether the new Respawn game would be using Frostbite engine, because that would be the first time Respawn's ever used it. But I just wanted to talk about how interesting that is, that these guys are doing brand new IPs, especially considering a lot of people want to see another Titanfall from Respawn. And with Double Fine, there was some talk that Double Fine might end up doing like a Banjo-Kazooie reboot or something like that, because that would be kind of right down their alley in terms of the kind of content that they make. So I just want to, let's pitch this off to you. What do you think about Double Fine and Respawn's new IPs?
So I think they're both great ideas when it comes to not living in the past, when it comes to these older IPs and stuff, especially when it comes to, and I'll touch bases on both, but I think especially when it comes to Respawn, I do want another Titanfall. Trust me, I love Titanfall, but the world we live in now, that game, even knowing it probably would, you don't even know how good that game would do like now, because a lot of people like Titanfall, but is it a game that's going to make people go out and say, I got to drop that $60 day one to get that?
Yeah, I would say so. No, that campaign, one of the best campaigns that came out this past generation. I think it would. I think that because it didn't sell well, which was all EA's fault, but you know how EA is. Things are their fault, but they don't blame themselves. They blame the developer. I think that because the game didn't sell well, that we probably won't see another Titanfall.
No, I think we'll see another one because people want it. But I just think right now they're competing. They'll be competing with themselves when it comes to the world that they're building. Like, I would think it would have to be a point where they start seeing a resurgence in arena shooters or just shooters like that in general. Call of Duty is kind of doing a lot of different things now. They're not even really diving. I played Call of Duty for the first time about a week ago. I have it on play. I have Cold War on PlayStation, and I jumped into that multiplayer, and I was like, "Yo, this is fun." It's like I kind of forgot, because it's like I stopped playing Call of Duty so long ago. Like I used to love it, but it's like I just, I think it's because I was getting killed so much because I really didn't play it enough. So that whole you ain't, the reason you don't like it is because you ain't good at it thing. Yeah, that probably was it. But then I got in there and I played it, and I was like, yo, and I got in there murking people. I was like, yo, this game is freaking phenomenal. And I played it for like a good 3-4 hours that day. And I think, and they're even pulling away from that formula. They're working on, Warzone being the new hotness, and Fortnite and stuff being that same hotness that you've been getting throughout the last few years. And Apex Legends is doing amazingly well for Respawn. So I just think it would have to be a situation where a game like Halo, this is what I think, if Halo could come out and really show that the arena shooter is still alive and well, like very alive and well, and they could pull people out of the ecosystems of these other consoles, then you'll see Respawn.
That's a big if.
But that's the thing, because think about it. More people will jump to Halo before they'll jump to Titanfall. Halo is still the key to like arena shooters, and if that game can't, and then this all has to do if the game's good too. If the game's not good, then all bets is off. But if the game is phenomenal and people are still not enamored with coming back over and jumping into that type of ecosystem again, then you're going to see Titanfall be even more kind of like, yeah, we're going to just take a wait and see approach on this before we bring it back, because the story, the single player is going to it's going to be phenomenal, because I have 100% faith in them and the stories that they've been building. Jedi Fallen Order, it was amazing. Titanfall 2 was one of the best single players you will ever play in a first person shooter. And even Apex Legends, the way that they woven the story into that game when it comes to like just being a game of a service, when it comes to BRs, it's really good. But the longevity of a game like Titanfall 3 is going to be based in the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is where a lot of people are going to spend their time at. And if they don't feel like people are going to get like stuck and want to play that multiplayer over and over and over again to the point where they can monetize it and, make it evergreen content like Call of Duty does with 2 different modes, their base game and their Warzone, that's where I feel like it's an unfortunate thing that you just got to kind of look at, that it just isn't time for them to do it. I want them to make it. I just don't think and it's not that they're risk averse of doing it, because I think they want to do it, but they just it's not the right time to to do that. They're going to let other games go out there and prove that people are willing to play in that arena.
But you got to look at the logistics of things. Respawn has 2 separate studios.
Yes, they do.
They Jedi Fallen Order did so well that they're already working on a sequel.
Absolutely.
So the second studio they created to do Jedi Fallen Order has already tied into more of the same. Their main studio that is comprised of people who are now apparently working on a new IP, and we don't know how many. You know how it is. Like you were working on a new IP, but it turns out it's only like a dozen dudes, and it's a skeleton crew, and they're still in pre-production.
Well, yeah, that's what happened to Cyberpunk.
But then, right. But then there's also, I think, because Apex Legends is already out, and they're doing annual content or seasonal content for it. That's probably where the skeleton crew is at this point. They're not like you don't have to build a whole new game with whole new maps and whole new characters and everything. You're just kind of you're adding on to what's already there. So the main team is now probably working on this new IP. They're just getting started with that. So you're looking at like a minimum 3 to 4 years before that comes out. We're looking at another 3 or 4 years for Jedi Fallen Order. When is Titanfall gonna get made? Because where, you know, who and when, and it's like you're not even looking at like
you got two even in one generation. Just think about that. Maybe
but then like by the time you even have, unless Vince decides to have a third studio for Respawn to do that specifically, you're waiting until like 2024 for either of these studios, at the earliest, for either of these studios to even work on a Titanfall game. And then you're not even going to get that game until like 2028.
Well, that you kind of answered your own question too there, Dan. It's like, they contractually have to make a Star Wars game. EA does, in order to keep that contract. And Respawn is definitely going to be, when it comes to a single player narrative game, they're going to get tapped on the shoulder for that every time. So we already can pretty much guarantee that the next game that Respawn makes is going to be a Star Wars game. And the golden goose is Apex Legends. That's what keeps, that literally is probably the one that is funding the development for the Star Wars game. Literally probably is. So until
now also think about this here, okay?
Yeah.
The longer we go without a Titanfall game, the less people are going to be clamoring for a new one. And so if they can't even make the decision to potentially do one until like 2024, how many, like, it's not a ton of people that's saying, where my Titanfall 3 at right now? In 4 years, how many less people are going to be saying that? I feel like we're not going to see a Titanfall 3. Just straight up, I just don't think
we're going to see it either. I think they made that decision when they shifted over to Apex. You know, they pretty much give you the weapons and the environments, and they give you everything but the Titans.
It's in the same universe. It's narrative wise, it's the same universe, even though it's a battle royale. This story's kind of lackluster there, but it's the same engine.
Same engine, yep. Source engine.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's not that you want your Titanfall. Play Apex Legends.
Well, that's what people were saying remember when they released it. People was like, "Whoa, this ain't Titanfall. We want Titanfall." And then they was like, "Well, it's in the Titanfall universe. You still got you got a lot of the same weapons that were in Titanfall in this game. The only difference is there's no Titans."
Yeah, and they did try to string people along too a little bit, like, "Oh, there could be a Titanfall coming soon."
There ain't no Titanfall coming.
There ain't no Titanfall coming soon. I think they may have thought about it. And then looked at everything, and then Vince looked at everything that's on his plate, and he was like, "Nah, we good. We can move on past that."
Well, it's not a guarantee. That's the thing. If Titanfall 2 would have came, if they wouldn't have released Titanfall 2 in the middle of Battlefield, what was it? Battlefield, not 4. What it was one Battlefield.
It was Battlefield. No, not Hardline, because Hardline didn't sell well either. It was an actual mainline Battlefield game and a Call of Duty game.
Battlefield 1. It released Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty. Literally in the same, like the middle of the week. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all knew what y'all was doing. But I just don't think that if the game would have did well, then Titanfall, it would stand a chance of releasing again. I do still think it's going to come again, but I do think they're going to wait. Now, to your point, how long is too long? I mean, some people will tell you that going an entire generation without a Halo game, remember what they were saying at the beginning of the generation, that Halo need a break. Now they crying about Halo don't need no break. We need Halo now.
Right.
So, but people were saying for years, like, man, Halo need to go on hiatus. But it sounds good until that game is actually on hiatus.
Yeah. Well, let's do. I got a little subtopic here, and then we can roll into our last topic of the night.
And Tim Schafer should just make new games. Don't worry about that old stuff. Just make.
That's what I was going to say. So, like, would you rather he made a new game or do Banjo-Kazooie? I hate Banjo-Kazooie, so I would rather they do a new game. So
I'd rather Microsoft give I'd rather Microsoft not have anything to do with it, and they license that over to Nintendo and let Nintendo do stuff with those IPs.
Yeah, and then like do that, and then make sure to say, hey, now that game wherever you making is got to show up on the Xbox. That would be smart on their part.
That's what I would do. I would let them make the games. They get the revenue. Like you only take the 30. Like you take, since they're the ones developing it, you just take a 30% royalty on the platform, not the platform holder, but of the IP holder, and then they say they have to release it on Xbox. That's it. That's right. What I would do.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, because there's no reason for Xbox. Yes, there's a lot of people say bring back some of the old stuff, but Xbox needs new stuff. Yeah. They don't need old stuff. They are way past the time of saying we're living on old IPs. Sony can do that because they have shown that they can give you banger after banger in new environments and new worlds and shareable adventures and stuff. And Nintendo has done the same thing. Xbox, not so much. So Xbox needs to just say, yo, these IPs, they just sitting there. Let's put them to use somewhere else where they'll be really good at, and just let them produce them, and we get them on our platform when they're done with them.
Agreed. So I didn't want this to be too long of a show because it's New Year's Eve, and I want people to to celebrate the new year, and and get on with things as well as ourselves, because we got families and whatnot. But last topic of tonight, and I guess it kind of coincides with what we were just talking about. If there was any old IP that you would want to see a new game made for, what would it be? Now, for the chat, I want you guys to put, type in the chat what games that you would like to see come back. I'll go first. I would love to see a true sequel to Chrono Trigger, or a reboot of Chrono Trigger, in the kind of visually and aesthetically, as well as combat wise, in the sense of how Final Fantasy VII Remake was done. But I don't want them to change the story, because the story's perfect. So leave the story as is, but just bring the game back visually looking the way it does, and the way that Final Fantasy VII Remake looks, and do that. Or give me a true sequel, because Chrono Cross was not a true sequel. Give me a true sequel to Chrono Trigger. That's what I would love to see. But it's Square Enix, so fat chance that's going to happen. What about you, man?
I was thinking about when we were talking about this earlier. I was thinking like some reboots that I would truly want. And for me, it goes back to like my love of like Genesis and like Sega and Dreamcast and stuff like that. I just want like games like not, I'm drawing a blank on it now. Power Stone and stuff like that. Those
yeah.
What, man?
Oh, they're bringing Power Stone back, right?
I know they're bringing it back, and I just
Capcom's release schedule got leaked, and Power Stone was on that. But I think it's like 2 or 3 years out. But yeah.
When I saw it, I got excited.
I remember this is a fighting game from back in the day, Rival Schools. You ever play that?
Yes, I did.
Rival Schools was awesome. If Capcom brought that back, that would actually get me to play a fighting game again, which I haven't done in forever. But I would play Rival Schools. Rival Schools. It's
like games, like even just remakes of like classic Metroid and stuff like that. Like, I really wish we could get back to like the Metroidvania style. What would a Metroid game in 2020 look like with the original story? Or games like Life Force and Contra that were like huge was by Konami, that we all loved it.
Well, you already know how that is.
Well, we already know
anything from Konami getting made.
But it's like those are all the games that kind of captured my love of gaming. Like games like think about it, games like on the Sega Saturn, like not Sega Saturn, Sega CD, like Sword Shark and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, it's like these are games that like I vividly remember playing, and I was like, man, what happened?
Ooh, I got another one. Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, that's
A remake of Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
I'm
the
telling you
remake
right
of Final
now,
Fantasy VI.
the love that people have for Final Fantasy VII is it introduced RPGs to a whole generation of gamers, and they love it, but they completely missed out on Final Fantasy VI. One, because it was on the Super Nintendo. Two, because it didn't have those full motion video FMV cutscenes that people actually thought Final Fantasy VII whole game was, and that didn't realize it until they played it that it wasn't like that. But story wise, it's a superior story.
Oh, absolutely! It's got the best zombie. It's got the best antagonist in any Final Fantasy.
Kefka is a psychopath. He's
psychopath.
And those characters, Locke, Terra, I'm drawing a blank with something. Duncan, his brother. Oh, like it's all of those cases. This is his name, Cyan, whatever his name is. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Shadow. Oh my god! Like,
did you buy it on? Did you buy it on Steam?
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, when they were all on sale, all half off. I bought all of the Final Fantasy games. I even got 4, which was my very first Final Fantasy game. 4 with and that was like the remaster 4, where it looks better and it's got like really nice looking cutscenes and whatnot. I haven't played it yet, but I need to get into it. But yeah. I would love to see 6 come back. I think people would be like, "Wow, this was amazing!" You know, like in that story and the in the middle of the story, the change the world. I'm not going to spoil it, but man, that would be amazing to see in modern day and have a modern day look to it with the way that Square Enix visually can do things with the Luminous engine. It would look amazing. But
I think one franchise that a lot of people say it probably went in a direction for the best, but I think it kind of hurt the franchise is Ghost Recon. The original way that Ghost Recon was introduced to us back on the original Xbox and original PlayStation, when it came to Desert Storm and all those games, it was squad based, but it was like you controlled the whole squad. The multiplayer was robust. It was like my first introduction.
It was like a real operation, like
operation, and it's like it's like. And what
the first Rainbow Six was like that too, but the Rainbow Six was more about like hostage situations going into it. They both had hostage situations, but Ghost Recon was more like in the jungles and out in the open, whereas Rainbow Six was like breaching buildings and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember being able to, like, it was a kind of a shock for me and my friends because we were used to you're running and gunning shooters, and then we played Ghost Recon, and it was like, you want us to plan the op.
Yep.
From like, and then like you get shot and you're like, I'm dead. One bullet, I'm dead. I got shot in the head. Like, you got shot in the head. Like, that's what happens when people get shot in the head. They die.
Yeah, they die. But it was just something about that gameplay, and I don't know how well it would work now because people are just impatient in games like that. But there's always a place and an avenue out there for people that want to play games like that. But I always felt like when Ghost Recon went down the advanced warfighter route, which visually was probably the right move because it literally just brought more eyeballs to the franchise. It was like you were a one-man wrecking crew, but then they turned it into a squad-based game later on, which is what it is now with Breakpoint and Wildlands. Drastically looking different games, but I just was always enamored with the original substance that game had. And it's the same thing with, like you said, with Rainbow Six. It's like nothing can compete with what it used to be. And at least Rainbow Six, and I will say Rainbow Six to its credit, they have probably stayed more truer to themselves than any other franchise that's ever released. Because that game is still kind of exactly what it is.
Right. Like, you get shot in the head, you're dead.
You know what you're getting into in Rainbow Six.
Right. I one more thing I was going to say, and then we can close out. I had an idea after playing Spec Ops: The Line earlier this year, which amazing game. It came out back in the day, I think 360. It came out on. Crazy story. Story is something that, like, when you finish it, you just kind of you just gotta sit in the corner and just think about some things for a little while. But I would love to see us like a spiritual successor or something like that within the Division universe, where it's single player. And because people were clamoring earlier this year, or maybe last year, for the Division to do a single player, narrative driven, third person perspective shooter within the Division universe. And the creative director, the lead director for the Division, actually was kind of like, hey, that's actually a pretty good idea. Maybe. And I think he was actually engaging with the idea on Twitter, because back then, old leadership was all like, no, we don't like stuff like that. So like, I think he was trying to show, like, get them to see, hey, look, people want this. See what people are saying. I think maybe now that the old guard is out, that might be something that might be possible. But it is possible. I would love it to be, because the Division universe is so dark, and there's so much death, and there's so much of that kind of, humans trying to survive against one another, as well as dealing with this pandemic that has destroyed the planet. That a very dark Spec Ops kind of vibe would really work well with that. So I kind of wish that would be something that I would love to see in the future, and then maybe that might be something that new Ubisoft would be into. But let's go ahead and wrap up, man. Appreciate you. I'm glad we started this podcast this year. I think we got some great heights that we're going to go to in 2021. But let the fine people out there know where to find you, Forte.
Yeah, man. First of all, 2020 sucked for a lot of reasons, but this podcast is not one of them. This podcast was birthed because of all the people that kept saying, yo, you and Slow-Mo need to do something, or you and Forte need to do something. And it was like, the chemistry was already there, man. We argue on everybody else's show. We might as well have some type of agreements and disagreements on our own. And the thing is, a lot of people were kind of worried, it's like, is that all it's going to be about? But it's like, no, man, we ain't one trick ponies up in here, man. We can talk about pretty much anything. And
exactly.
And that's the one thing that I appreciate the most about you. So first of all, I want to say thank you for going down this journey with me, and being the person that I always thought you were, and you will always continue to be, which is a good friend, good father, and just one of the coolest homies in this community. And I don't think you get enough credit for that. But outside of that,
man, appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. So I got to get sentimental. Last time before 2020, because last time for this year. Next year will be something different. But it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live. Check us out on DPS. Jesus, check us out on Scumcast tomorrow, Saturday. Days are all messed up. Drinking haven't happened yet, and I'm already there. But check us out on that on Saturday. Also, check us out on Brat Podcast on Wednesday at 9 p.m. And check us out on check me out on Primetime Gaming on Monday with Mr. Boomstick XL. And I will have a video coming out tomorrow. We're gonna start the year right. Gonna have a Destiny and an Xbox video. I'm gonna satisfy both player bases tomorrow, because we're gonna start 2020 off right, because you guys have done nothing but support me throughout this year. Slow-Mo making a bet with me back in June literally got me over almost just over 1,000 subs since then. So now we're about to get back to just being super consistent. The holidays is over. It's time to get back to work, and I appreciate you guys coming through the journey with me. But we will see you guys in the new year. Stay safe. Happy New Year to all of you guys, and I love you all.
Hey, couldn't say that better myself. You guys have a great night. Love you guys. Peace out.
You literally couldn't say it better.